Hey, everybody, can you hear me? Okay, we will. Stop. No. No, it's fine. Hey, everybody, can you hear me? How can I make myself bigger? Okay, you guys, I'm starting a little early because I tend to have technical difficulties. Okay, Weebles, we're hoping that he's going to cooperate. Here he is. He may bark. There are noises, and noises cause him to bark. So if that happens, it happens. So I'm going to just give it a couple minutes, just kind of let things chill. And I just wanted to, get started early in case something tragic happened, which it doesn't seem to this time. But it is 7:56. It is not 8 o'clock, and I will start at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go, I don't know, do something. Probably not that interesting. I'll tell you guys if you want to know. And I will be back in 4 minutes. Okay? You guys, I set it up nice. See? Do you guys see that? I wish you could see the sunset. Okay? It's really nice. Okay, I will be back momentarily. Okay. I'm going to look at the sunset before I get started with Weebles and hope that that chills him out a bit. Well, nearly fell. All right. Hello, everybody. It's Naomi Bloom. I'm back. I hope, some of you, I realize it's Labor Day weekend, and some of you are going to be watching live. A lot of you will be watching later, but hello to everybody. And I just want to say something about, a couple things. Okay. First of all is, you guys, it's Labor Day. Labor Day is, should be more celebrated. I know it's, the end of the summer holiday, but it's just, we all labor, we all toil. Let's take a day to celebrate all of that. I think that's super important. So I just want to say that. Happy Labor Day to everyone. You guys, I'm also just want to tell you, I've had a hard day. I'm not going to go into it. This isn't the time. This isn't the place. But it's been difficult. And so I'm like a little, my mojo is a little off. I hope to get it back going again. I got my feelings hurt, guys. That happens. Okay. So I also want to address like profanity in my videos. People have mentioned it and I've thought about it a lot. And I am going to try to remove it to what degree I can. I mean, it's a little bit ingrained, but I don't want it to like get in the way. Some people like it. Some people hate it, whatever. No. Nobody, please, and disrupt me. I haven't figured out my technical things, you guys. I've fallen in love with technicians, but I can't seem to have one when a girl really needs one around, okay? But I was saying that, like, profanity, I am going to try to eliminate it to the degree to which I'm able, because I am me, but just because I don't want it to get in the way of the message, okay? So, there's that. Okay, you guys, I have notes. If you see me looking, it's because I'm a proper student and I made like a proper outline because I want to have my thoughts organized for you guys, whether it's live or you're watching later. And thank you for everyone who watched my last video. I was like, whoa, people have watched it. Like, this is cool. And so thanks. I super appreciate that. Okay, reminder, disclaimer. Okay, I am a psychotherapist. I do specialize in couples, intimacy, adult individuals, families. I do the whole adult thing. I don't see kids because a lot of reasons for another time. But I do see adults in all forms, and couples are one of my specialties. It's what I like doing the most. But I'm not your therapist, and I'm speaking to you as a friend who has learned from like being a person and talking to people along the way. So, you know, just keep that in mind. If you need a psychotherapist, I realize not everyone has that privilege because it is, but if you need a psychotherapist, I hope you can find a good one and try to find one you're comfortable with and you don't have to like censor yourself because then what's the point? But I do have the qualifications to be talking about things. If you guys need to check out my qualifications, then go ahead and search me up on, you can Google. It has, you know, that's what it does. So we're good. We're good there. Okay, you guys, I might be moving this to like YouTube or Instagram because I feel like Facebook's like being a bit of a hassle, and I'm just like, I don't get along with. I don't need more hassles, you guys. I have a glass of wine. It's been that kind of day, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I might be moving. I'll let you guys know if I move. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Okay, so I have a story to tell. I like to start with a story. So my grandfather, who's now deceased, he was my father's father, they're all dead now. Used to go to garage sales and he would like buy out people's entire libraries and send them to my sister and I. And we would get these giant boxes of books from Florida. It's like, it must have cost him a fortune to send those, but we would like go through them and blah, blah, blah. And we were always looking for, you guys, we were always looking for the sex books, you know, because we were just like, is there anything good in here? You guys, we were like adolescents, early adolescents. And so we found them. He didn't look through the books before he sent them. He just sent them. So we found them, of course. Please don't do that. That is not nice. Someone please is going to have to help me out with this at some point in time. Or I tried to figure this out, you guys, before the video, how to not be disrupted, but I ran out of time. Okay, that happens. So my grandfather sent us these books. And so we would find like Erica Jong, Fear of Flying. We would like look for all the erotica. And then we also found this like life cycle library, which just showed like drawings of like genitals and like to explain sexual intercourse from like a very like technical perspective, and we were still poring over that like yes, more, tell me more. So that's how I got interested, in addition to just being a person. Let's be honest, we're all interested, most of us. We won't, you know, I'm sure there are exceptions. There are exceptions to everything, but most of us are interested, let's be honest. Okay, so facts and stats. Okay, so the average marriage or long-term relationship people have experience intimacy or sex around 1 to 2 times a week. When I see couples in treatment, I talk about a lot of issues, and I'm going to share most of those issues with you guys tonight. I'm going to like hit some of those issues. It's going to be fun. But I like to talk with couples about what gets in the way, the obstacles to intimacy, because as I talked about on my video last week, it's very important in a relationship. It's part of protecting the relationship, which we also talked about last week. So, now for the good stuff. So we're going to start with the obstacles to women in intimacy. You guys, and I'm going to talk about men in intimacy next week, but I'm starting with women because I don't know me, I'm biased because I am one, but I'm starting with women. So we're going to talk about women in intimacy. That's what we're doing. So what gets in the way of women in intimacy? I talk about this probably at least 25 times a week, if not more, in very different variations. There are some things that get in the way, and it's legit. And I want to, I want to talk about those things, and then I'm going to give you some helpful suggestions. Okay, so the first impediment to intimacy with women is that people do not talk about sex or intimacy. They have it. I mean, we all like to do that, right? I mean, most of us. But talking about it is a little bit uncomfortable, and we're going to address that. So lack of communication, number one issue. I know it sounds cliche, and I hate saying that, but it's a thing. I think when children come along, careers, things, other responsibilities, it gets compromised. Usually people fall in love, they become infatuated. Scientists have figured out that lasts between 6 and 18 months. And then life happens. People have children, people have careers, there are stressors, there's money, there's blah, blah, blah. And you guys are all know what I'm talking about. You've been there, right? And so people, I often hear, I'm too tired and I'm too overwhelmed. Those are the two most common things I hear from women, which I totally get. I am one and I've experienced that myself. So that is an obstacle. Another obstacle is lack of education about how intimacy works for most women. And I'm going to teach you guys about that. So that'll be fun. But there's just not a lot of, there's a lack of just basic knowledge about how intimacy is different for women and men. So that's why we're here talking tonight on Labor Day Eve. Is that a thing? Okay. You guys, resentment. I always tell my patients that resentment is the enemy. It's like the enemy to intimacy. It's like the death nail. If there's too much resentment, nobody's going to have any fun, if you know what I'm saying. So resentment. What is resentment? It is anger that's been internalized, and then it just becomes this wall. It's not fun. It's like, and there can be like a lot of contempt. And so if there's contemptuousness, if there's a lot of resentment, nobody's going to have any fun, you guys. So we're going to talk about that, okay? This one goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's a lot of shame in our culture and embarrassment about intimacy. Talking about it, saying what you like, saying what you're into, talking about your formative experiences, all things of that nature. And so I call it the corruption of intimacy by culture, which is not very nice, but we were all born into a culture. What do you do, right? So that's huge. And fear of judgment from a partner is huge, you guys. Like it's sad to me that a lot of people die with their authentic sexuality never having been spoken or experienced by another human being. Because the fear of judgment is so potent. And so if I could eradicate that, folks, I would do it right now. I would cast a little spell. I would make a deal with whoever, and I'd be like, no more shame about what you like, as long as it's not hurting people and it's consensual and it's with a consenting adults, then whatever. I don't really care what you're into. I mean, to each his or her or they or themselves own, okay? Another thing that gets in the way for women particularly, and men too, but women were notorious for this. I am one, so you gals, you'll know what I'm talking about, is body image issues. So, and I have a message for women about that. I don't need to go into that. You guys know what body image issues are. Men find us beautiful. They do. They don't care about the stretch marks. They don't care about the cellulite. They think it's all hot. And we're obsessing over it and all covering ourselves and being all trying to get the lighting right and don't squeeze this part or don't touch that part and all that. That's also unnecessary, because I talk to men all day, a lot of the time, most of the day, half of the day, I don't know, it depends on the day, about intimacy. And men tell me time and time again, with very few exceptions, that they find female bodies as they are beautiful. Even with all of your business that you're embarrassed about. Okay, that gets in the way. So let's work on that. Differences in drive, that goes without saying. I mean, some people want sex more than others. Okay, that's not hard. That becomes an issue. Don't do this to me, please. This is not nice. I'm not coming to Boston soon. Do not do that. Okay. See, this gets me off my game. I need to figure out how to turn that off. Differences in drive. Also, porn. Porn is an issue. And I'm going to do a whole talk on porn, because I have a lot to say about porn. But I will say this about porn right now. I do think if porn is getting more of your sexual attention than your spouse or partner, then there are going to be problems. Okay? So we will have a talk about porn, but that's like your tip about porn. Like, direct that sexual energy toward the person that you're with. If they'll have you, and if they won't have you, then hopefully they will now, because you're going to learn some stuff, right? Okay, so we're getting near the end of like the issues I see, because I see a lot of issues. I'm sure I've forgotten some, and I'm trying to give you the basic ones. People can let it go so long that it gets awkward. Okay, if you don't have sex frequently enough, it's like starts to feel weird. It starts to feel awkward, and it's just like, that is not sexy. No one wants to feel awkward during sex. Okay, that's not sexy. We've all been there. Okay. And, okay, last but not least, 2, goal-directed. Everybody has to have an orgasm. Everyone has to have an erection. It has to be like, no, you guys, that's not how it actually works. Good intimacy can happen when there aren't erections, when there aren't orgasms. If that happens, great. If it doesn't, okay. People get too hung up on that stuff. I have a funny story to tell you. So when I was in 5th grade, I got this book from the library. It was called Come Alive at 5:05. And I was like, my dad was watching the news, and I was just like, Dad, I was like reading my book. I was like, Dad, what's an ORGASM? I asked him, and he was just like, what book are you reading? He like snatched it out of my hands as quickly as he could. And like, he had it banned and censored from like the library of my 5th grade school. And I was like, well, with that reaction, it must be something interesting. It made me all the more like interested in it. I was like, okay, I'm going to find out more about that. Okay, so these are some of the obstacles for women. Like I said, I'm sure I've forgotten some. It happens. But these are some of the big ones that I see. Okay, and now I want to share the good stuff, what I've learned, okay? And this is going to be an overview, because that's what we have time for, okay? I want to talk about the 3 types of like marital or long-term relationship sex. I will, like, you guys, this is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go through it. There's a time and a place for each of these, okay? We're going to talk about that. They all have their place, like the food groups, okay? There's the quickie. We all know what that is. That's enjoyable. There's standard marital sex, which I call efficient marital sex. That's the staple of marital or long-term relationship sex. That's like sex within our comfort zones. It's efficient. We know how to get each other off. It's like the meat and potatoes of a marital sexual relationship. And then there's what I hate this term, you guys, but for lack of a better term, I'm just going to use it. There's love making. There's a love making session. Okay? That's also something so there are 3 kinds. There's the quickie, there's efficient marital, and there's love making. They all have their place. Okay? We need to make room for all of them, because they're all like, needed for a healthy, intimate life in a couple. Okay. Well, guys, I'm turning my page. See, I made notes. I don't, you guys, I'm like, want to make sure that I'm very organized and efficient in my information delivery. Okay, one of the main misconceptions is about how female desire works. What is desire? It's a woman wanting intimacy. You all want that, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you some tips. Men are different than women in this way, and I will talk about this in my next video. Men can have like just sort of spontaneous desire. They can just be like at work at the copy machine or at the water cooler or getting gas, and they can have sexual desire. Great, that's awesome. That's not how women are, though. That's not how women work. Here's how it works for women. You have to get to desire, okay? Women aren't going to walk around horny most of the time, men. Or other women, or they, them, or whoever who wants to have sex with women. Okay, men aren't going to do that. Or women aren't going to just extemporaneously have a lot of desire. So they have desire, but there are some steps before that, guys, women, whatever, people, friends. And here I'm going to tell you the steps. How to help a woman get to a place where she can express and feel her desire. There are some steps. Number 1, emotional connection. Okay, I'm just going to let that settle for a second, because some of you are going to be like feeling a little bit like, what? I don't want to have to do that. Well, if you want to have sex with women, you're going to learn. You're going to have to, unless you don't want the good stuff. Okay, so emotional connection. If a woman isn't feeling emotionally connected to her mate, it is not going to happen. And if it does, it will be perfunctory and boring and just like get it over with and like a task. And that's not fun for anyone. Okay, so emotional connection. Touch is the next part. Touch, like knowing how your female partner likes to be touched. So emotional connection, then touch. See? Then nature will start to take its course, and a woman will like start to, not all women, not all the time, but more times than if you don't do it, a woman will start to feel desire. That's what you want, right? That's the good stuff. And then desire leads to intimacy. See how that's different? So I'm going to go through that again because it's important. Emotional connection. I'm looking at you. Okay. Touch. And if you need, this is where communication comes in. How do you like to be touched? What feels good? What feels bad? What's too much? What's not enough? People don't tell their partners these things. We need to ask one another this. And I'm going to talk about that. But touching your female partner, like she likes to be touched, okay? Then nature will take its course, and hey, we might be in business. We may not every time, but like the probability is some of the time we're going to be in business, okay? And then there comes the desire for intimacy, and then intimacy. See, it's like a formula. Okay. Another thing I work with clients on is putting yourselves in the path of intimacy. I have to have this talk with women a lot. I know you're tired. I know you're overwhelmed. I don't want anyone to have sex if they don't want to. Like nobody's asking it. But putting yourself in the path of intimacy means availing yourself for the things I just talked about. Emotional connection, touch, desire, intimacy. Putting yourself in the path. Just saying, hey, touch me for a while. Cuddle with me. We'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. It could turn into something. It could not. Let's like give it a go. Okay. If you don't put yourself in the path, it's not going to happen. It's not going to like knock, knock, knock on your doorstep. Hey, I'm Desire. Do you want to have sex with your spouse? No. You have to put yourself in the path. Like, I'm here. Okay, talking to your partner about sex, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that means, like, how do you like to be touched? What turns you on? This is a safe space. Like, I'm not going to judge you. There's a lot of, like, reassurance that needs to happen. That's very important. I hate the word lover, but for lack of a better term, we need to teach our partners to be good lovers to us, okay? And not be all coy about it, not be all ashamed about it, not be like embarrassed, not like, just this is how you love me in a way that I like to be loved. Let me teach you, okay? We can do that, gals, can't we? We need to teach our partners. And then people who like to have sex with women, ask your female partner. Ask her and help her feel safe and comfortable sharing how to be a good lover to her. Don't you want that? That's it. That's the good stuff, you guys. Okay. The next thing is creating a sacred space for the love-making sessions, that portion of the marital long-term relationship sexual formula. You have to make sacred space. You can't have dogs barking, kids running amok, like whatever. I mean, whatever you have to do, you have to create a sacred space, or that kind of like longer session, which is very enjoyable, is not going to happen. Okay, so making a sacred space. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I also like to talk about the rules of the triangle, the bed, or the floor, or the kitchen counter, whatever. I just say rules of the triangle for like lack of a better term. That means that what you do in the bedroom does not have to be congruent with like what you do in real life. Okay, the rectangle has its own rules. As long as everyone's consenting, you can say things, you can play roles, you can like say things you wouldn't, or hear things that you would, if somebody called you on the street, you would like deck them. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a different set of rules. That's what makes it fun. You don't have to be congruent sexually with your partner in the rectangle. I mean, if somebody likes to be called something in bed, that can be fun. I mean, if somebody calls them that on the street, the police may be called, okay? But it's a different set of rules. And like, it's okay. And that is okay. That is normal. That is healthy, okay? I also like to talk about talking during sex. Ask your partner if they like it. Try it out. It's kind of fun. Some people don't like it. Some people like it. It can really enhance the experience if you like it. I always say linger longer. I always say after intimacy, it's like a chocolate chip cookie, like that's just been pulled out of the oven. Like everyone's all gooey and everyone's all warm and it's all cozy and stuff. Use that time. Don't rush away. That's when the next thing happens. All of like the neurotransmitters and hormones are flying. Right? That's when the oxytocin, which is like the bonding hormones there. That's when the dopamine, which is like the feel-good neurotransmitters there. It's like, be in that for a while. Why do we have to rush away? This is why those longer sessions are important. Be there as warm chocolate chip cookies together for a while. It'll be fun. It will help your relationship. Believe me, it will. Another thing I like to remind people of is like, it's good for kids to see that their parents are attracted to each other or their parental figures. I'm not asking you to make out in front of your kids, you guys. Nobody wants that. That would be traumatic and probably, I don't know, you don't want like DHS involvement, but show your kids that you're attracted to one another. That's healthy. That's healthy modeling. Don't be so uptight about it. Some people, not everyone. It's good. It's good for kids to see this, okay? And demonstrate it in a healthy way. There's also just have fun and play. Everybody, I think sometimes people take it all too seriously. This can be fun. This can be fun. We can play. It's called adult play, okay? It's nice. So don't like just chill out. Don't take yourself so seriously. Nobody's going to be injured as if like everybody's being respected, and just kind of like let down your guard. Have fun, laugh, talk. It'll be a good time. I promise. Okay. And I just want to give you guys a tip. There are quizzes out there. I'll find a way to get you guys a link. I'll put it up on Facebook or something about where like you take a quiz and your partner takes a quiz separately about what you'd be potentially into intimately. Okay. And like, you'd be like, maybe I'd be into this, definitely not into that, into it if my partner would, not into it at all, whatever. And so what it does, I mean, maybe some of you guys might know about this, but is that like, it will like tell you what you're both like potentially open for. Isn't that neat? So it could, I'm going to like try to find these quizzes. I got one once. I mean, I've taken them before, and I want to give them to you guys. It can be really helpful because there might be overlap that nobody's talking about. And like, that's fun not being had. Okay. So I know that was a lot of information in a short span of time. I'm trying to keep these under 30 minutes, guys. And like I said, some of you are watching this live. There are going to be a lot of people watching this, like, you know, later because of Labor Day and because they're out doing something fabulous, I hope. But you guys, thank you for coming. This is fun for me, even though I had like a little bit of a rough day and I had a little bit of a cry. I had to cry, you guys. But you know what? My ex-husband told me I was an ugly crier. Like we were having like, and I laugh about it now and we joke about it. So I'm not like dissing on him. It was funny. But I was just like, we were having a marital fight and he was just like, you're an ugly crier. And I'm like, that's not nice. But I'm over it now. That's fine. I mean, my face gets all puffy and my eyes get all, and I'm like, ugh. It's not pretty. Okay. So thanks for coming, you guys. Next week, we're going to talk about at the same time, same place, men and intimacy. That will be fun. I see a lot of men in my psychotherapy practice, and they tell me things, and I want to tell you guys things. I mean, I'm not going to give away identifying information. That's like not HIPAA compliant. But I want to tell you guys what I've learned if you guys are interested. So everybody, thanks for coming. This is fun for me. You guys, it's fun. I like this. I want to like tell people things. It's like I want to share what I've learned, okay? And so thank you for coming. I hope everybody has a safe Labor Day weekend. Have fun. Celebrate the toils of your labor. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, but do it in a safe way, please. We don't need any injuries or worse. So I will be back next. I mean, I'll be like posting things here and there. You know, that's what I do. But I will be back doing this next Sunday, 8 o'clock, talking about men and intimacy. So once again, Naomi Bloom. This has been fun. I hope you guys had fun. I think this was, I don't know, it was fun for me. I mean, it was a half hour of fun for me. I guess that's good enough. Okay. So you guys have a good night. All right. See you later. Bye.